So at some point I'm going to have to make a wood chunker, but for now this is the way I'm doing it, and I guess it'll work. Not the best way, but I guess whatever works. Cut it in strips and then cut that way. It should work. Not exactly the fastest way probably, but I guess whatever works. Alright, so once I get that short, I could probably do something with them, but it seems like it'd take too long. I'll have to figure out some way to do all that. But you can see the pile of sawdust I got. I got about a half of a barrel full. And that took me probably about 30 minutes to get all that cut up. It's not great, I guess, but there's still a lot more in there to cut up, so yeah. But one thing about it, I got to lift this up onto the concrete blocks up there to over top of the fire. So yeah, I don't want it to be too heavy. Anyway, I'm going to put it back there, light the fires, and get that to dry. So yeah, for the stuff that I want to kind of hurry up to dry, I'll stick it in this barrel. And for the rest of it, I've got a like a cage I can put it in to let it set and dry. But anyway, that's how I'm processing my fuel for the Silverado. Okay, I'm not really sure if the camera caught it or not. There was a puff back up into the hopper, and it, yeah, did a pretty good puff. I don't know why it did it, but yeah. That was kind of startling. Anyway, let's see here. It's been running a few minutes. It's not really that warm yet. Getting there. It's hotter there than it is coming out. That's not bad. It's cold out today, by the way, so yeah. So let's see what it is. Right. Feels warmer than that by hand, but it is not really. I mean, there is a little bit of a haze coming out of there. Not much. Seems to be firing though. I'm not clicking it, I'm just pushing the trigger and letting the propane out. So that means that is lit. I don't know, it keeps making weird. Might be one of these chattering or something. I don't know. I don't know if you can hear that. Huh. That went out. There it goes. Whoa, yeah, it's hot. Well, I had hair on that hand, but I don't have hair on that hand anymore. All right. Well, I've got wood up in here somewhere. I might go get a couple of more barrels or buckets of wood. Oh yeah, let me show you what I got for condensate tank. Okay, so under the back here, so right now that's my condensate tank drain. Just take this off and you can pull this whole thing off and just let the condensate come out of it. So yeah, we got all that set up. Kind of tempted to see if the engine will run. Okay, so I took the bilge blowers off. I put the cap on here. Now up here I have the air valve just about all the way closed. I'll get up here and adjust it. I still don't have my servos and stuff to do this with yet, but we're going to just try it and see what it does here. And when it starts stumbling, you can see fuel pump is this one right here. This one. I'm going to pull this relay out when it starts stumbling and see if it'll keep running. See what we can do here. Okay. So it is running. Turn this off. There we go. We're running on wood right now. Well, we were running on wood. Okay, let me open the air back up. Fuel pump switch back in. I'll have to play around with it. Try to get it where it'll do its thing. Okay, so I got the air valve mostly closed down. It's pretty much hybrid driving right now with the fuel pump on. It's adjusting the fuel flow with the injector. Probably not putting hardly any fuel into it. But what's this? Rev it up. Alright, so now I have this switch down here. This was in here when I got the truck. This is the first time I've ever used it. Up has the fuel pump on, and I'll show you how I did that. Those wires lead under here, and I bent the pin. Let's see if I can show you on an old one here. Alright, I bent one of these pins up. You can see it sticking out there, and I put the wire on it. Now I'm going to put a connector on it, but for right now that's working. And I've got my gas valve adjusted right to where it needs to be, or my air valve. Now I'm going to change this. I'm going to get a throttle body, a big throttle body, the same, probably the same that normally goes on this truck. But I'm going to get a throttle body, that way I can control it with a servo a lot easier. And also I've ordered an Arduino, and I'm going to start learning how to program them and how to make them work, and I think that will help a lot with this project. I'll probably just leave this extra relay in there, and just going to wrap this somewhere and put the cover on, and we might just see if we can get this thing to move on wood gas. Right now it is idling on wood gas. There is no gasoline getting into it because this is the fuel pump relay, and that switch is turned off. So the fuel pump is turned off. So we're not getting gasoline in it, so it has to be running on something. So I would suspect probably wood gas. We are running on wood gas right now, and I'm just going to see what it'll do. We have a dash cam, so I may just let the dash cam take care of it. So I don't have to try to hold the camera and stuff. Alright, so here we go. We are driving on 100% wood. I'm actually in low range right now. The audio from the dash cam was really not very good, so I'm just gonna do a voiceover. Actually, there was also, which I fixed it now, but the heat shield that goes around the gasifier was rubbing on the drive shaft when it would get after you would hit a bump or something. It would get up into it, and it was making an awful noise. It was a really easy fix. I just took my pliers and just bent the heat shield away from the drive shaft, but for this part of the video it was really annoying. Like my son said, it sounded like you were inside a computer that was having errors. Anyway, as far as running on wood gas, in low range it's excellent. It's all the torque you would ever need in low range. And going through the creek, it was running pretty much just like it ran on gasoline. Just pretty much give it gas, it goes, and you know, that's it. So yeah, here we are going through the creek. I do notice that I would like to have the controls, of course. I mean, all that stuff is coming from Amazon. Also have an AFR gauge that is supposed to be on the way. Don't know when it's going to get here, but that would be handy to have to tell what my fuel ratio is. But I just kind of did it by ear. Now there is a learning curve with all this, and I'm still very much in the beginning phases of that learning cycle. So yeah, I'll get it. Now here I am switching to high range. I just now went into high range, and the throttle response is kind of sluggish, but it's there, and felt pretty good. I mean, this is all low speed driving, you know, this is a small road, so you're not going super high speeds. But it felt pretty good right here. And we'll just keep on going. It's still running great. I still haven't used a drop of gasoline yet. And I mean, as far as this part of the hill, I'm in first gear, so of course it's pulling the hill fine. And then now I get out here and I take off accelerating on the road. Now I'll tell you right now, this truck is not a hot rod by any means. It's slow. Of course, it was never a hot rod. It's a small V8. It's a 4.8, so it doesn't have a whole lot of power to begin with. But on wood gas, yeah. I think I may need the second line. I have one 2-inch line coming up. I may need a secondary one to flow a little bit more gas. Right through here, actually I'm doing like 40 miles an hour, and I'm pretty much on the floor, so something has to be rectified on that. Now it runs great up to about 2,000 RPM. Once it hits 2,000 RPM and I push the gas down farther, I think it's losing timing. I may play with the throttle position sensor and see if maybe adjusting that might actually adjust my timing. I don't really want to go into the computer and change the timing tables because of the fact that I want it to run good on gasoline also. I don't want to have a problem with you know, compromising on the gasoline performance, and then, you know, I want to have it run like stock on gasoline. So yeah, at this point I'm kind of realizing that it does need a little bit of work. And also, if I had the inside controls going right now, I could reduce the amount of restriction on the air, and I could turn on the fuel pump and let it hybrid. But right now, there's a couple of times, well, back down the road a little bit, I tried flipping the switch and doing hybrid driving. It didn't work. So here I'm going to pull off. I'm going to try to adjust stuff a little bit and see if I can make it run a little bit better. Okay, so now I have a little bit less air, or a little bit less restriction on the air, I should say. And I can actually turn on the fuel pump and have a little bit of hybrid. At this point right now, I'm actually running, it's going downhill though, so it's not really fair to say, oh yeah, it's running great. It took off no problem, but that's because it was going downhill. But I'm running on just wood gas, but I can flip the switch and it doesn't flood it out with the air the way it was. As soon as I'd flip the switch, it would flood out and it would about quit. So now I can flip the switch. Somewhere through here I flip the switch. I think it's right about when I pass this garage. Flip the switch and now it's in hybrid, and it was going along just fine. I don't know how much gasoline I'm using though, so we're going to have to remedy the fact that I have to use gasoline at all. But just, I mean, I could probably be driving along right now on wood just fine, but where I don't have the controls in the cab yet, I wanted it to where I could switch between them without killing it on the road. But I think it is working pretty good. I just have a few more little tweaks, but yeah, it seems to be doing pretty good. All right, I think it does great. We went up and down the road a little bit. Now I am experiencing some leaks, and you know, well, that comes along with being a well, let's just say not so great welder. We got our first drive on wood gas, and it was I would say a successful drive. We got the wood gas truck on the road and driving, and it is running 100% on wood right now. You can see actually it's idling at about 500 RPM. Now when you give it gas, it hesitates a little bit, but then it kind of takes off. It really likes to run right around 2000 RPM. It's got this is pretty much your power band between 1 and 2. Now I think with a few more tweaks, I think I'll be able to run it pretty good. Now it will run. It will run right on up there. And I'll tell you what, low range. I've got low range in this thing. That comes really in handy for wood gas. Anyway, we got it on the road. I guess that's going to be about it for this video. I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.